Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on Starline by a bassist who brings energy to every show. Her debut release is Joyride. We welcome a ball of energy and once banned from the French roast in Greenwich Village, Karina Rykman.
Hey, Sean, how you doing? Great intro. Loved it.
Absolutely great, Karina. Let's go Beyond the Mic. You played in your first punk band in 8th grade, streamed over 1 million times on Spotify, and conned promoters into letting you play underage. Why did music touch your heart and soul?
Great question. I feel like people have lots of proclivities towards different things, but, to me, music was the only thing that made sense when I was young like that. And once I found it, I found my community, I found my friends, I found my people, and it's one of those things where, you can love music and it doesn't have to be that much more than that. Music, you just shut your eyes and you're transported, and there's so much to learn and there's so much to play and there's so many facets of it that I've been endlessly compelled by since I was a wee child. So I don't know. For me, it's just what's always done it for me.
Jam band legend Trey Anastasio from Phish produced Joyride. What was the first lesson of many you learned from this experience?
Oh my God. I mean, how much time do you have, Sean? It's really one of those things where I could go on and on and on. Trey, the way he put so much care and effort and just tactfulness into, helping with this record. He plays on 5 of the 9 songs and helped so much with the arrangements and gave me the barn, which is his Vermont studio that he's had since the late 90s, to work in, and with Bryce Goggin, who's made many, many, many records with Trey and with Phish. It's all just beyond words. So, the selflessness, the care, just, for the sake, you watch this guy, he wakes up at 6 a.m. every day and just writes music for the love of it, and that's wildly inspiring. And he is a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of joy, and to get to soak in any of his perspective and mentorship is beyond words.
Have you reached over 100 Phish shows watched yet?
Yeah, I've seen 140 Phish shows.
You're on a nationwide tour supporting Joyride. Which song is the one you want everyone to fall in love with?
Is it trivial to say the title track, Joyride itself? I feel like Joyride, it has...
That isn't trivial.
Yeah, I feel good about that one. That, I feel good about all of them, but that one, to me, there's a reason that we named the record that. There's a reason that was the single. There was, that it just feels like an overarching emblem of what it all means, and it's super bouncy, jubilative, dancey. It's a feel-good summer song, so I would say fall in love with that one first, and then let the world unfurl. Listen to all 9 tracks and see where you get transported to.
Karina Rykman's latest release is Joyride, and she joins us for the Rocking 8. Karina, all this is 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There is no pressure. You used to be a photographer before your music career took off. So I need to know, Canon or Nikon?
Canon.
What's the color of your first pick you ever played the bass with?
Ooh, purple.
Now, your mom shares a birthday with Joe Walsh and Dwayne Allman. What's your favorite thing about her?
Her humor. Can I expound upon these, or is it just a one-word situation? Okay, great. Fantastic. I love it. No, my mom is one of the funniest, most fun-loving people on this universe. And we just, I'm an only child, and she's somewhere between a mother and a sister and a best friend. I know it sounds corny, but it's kind of true. And we just, if you let us out in public together, man, we are just cackling and falling to the floor, laughing and making everybody around us laugh. If we go to a store together, that cashier is in for a good time.
One thing that you have to take out on tour with you?
My Nespresso machine.
Really? What's your favorite flavor?
Oh, it's called Kazar, Kazaar. It used to be the strongest blend. I think they've one-upped it now, but honestly, anything stronger than a Kazar is bound to put you in the hospital. It really, it's dark. It's really a good time. Let me tell you, I maybe drink twice a year. I don't do any drugs, but man, I'm addicted to these bad boys. They really get me right. Just one a day will do you, but, really a big fan of the Kazar. And once I started bringing the Nespresso machine on tour, I've never looked back.
Do you remember your SAT scores? Especially after you burned your SAT books with your parents.
I think it was 18. Wait, no. Oh, man. What's it out of? No, I really don't remember. But it was good enough to get into NYU. And
that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the English, I actually did have a perfect English score, and I had an abysmal math score. I remember that. And so it was one of those things that just, ended up balancing out because the English was so good. And in all my essays and whatnot, it was very clear that I wanted nothing to do with math. And that I was very, very strong in one area and very, very weak in another. I think it all ended up equaling out and equalizing. So that's math's still not so great for me, pal. But you know what? You just gotta lean into what you're good at.
You're a foodie, so what's the best place in New York that only the locals know of?
Oh, it is called Co and Pistol. It is the seafood restaurant in Chelsea Market. They have literally the freshest, finest seafood in Manhattan. They purvey all of the freshest seafood to all the Michelin-starred restaurants across the city. And they just put oysters Rykman on the menu. And that, let me tell you what it is, pal. Best shit ever. Like, literally, this is like a dream come true. This is one of the greatest achievements of my life. And the oyster, it's an oyster with a piece of uni, that's sea urchin, for those who don't know, and trout roe, and a little piece of 23-karat gold flake on top to match the gold bass guitar that I play, with ponzu sauce. And boy, it is a hedonistic delight. And I hope you go to New York and order the oysters Rykman for me. And enjoy it so much. That is the hidden gem of the city, and I bring everyone there, and it is a very special place. And Chef Dave, shout out to Chef Dave Siegel, who is not only one of the most talented seafood and, beyond chefs in New York, he is also a dear friend and a wonderful improviser.
How about your favorite Phish deep cut?
Oh, deep cut, huh? Deep cut. Let me think about that for 2 seconds, because I have a lot of great answers. My favorite Phish deep cut. I mean, it's not that deep, but the first thing that comes to mind, so first thought, best thought, Train Song.
Very cool.
And it's a Mike Gordon's tune. And it's just a great song, and I feel like it doesn't get the recognition that it should. I don't know. I feel like every time they play Train Song, I get excited. And it's one of those tunes that the studio recording of it is beautiful. And a lot of people, aren't really, they care less about studio Phish than live Phish, but that's a recording that I think is really, really strong.
You said, quote, I've said it before and I'll say it again, never trust anyone who doesn't like Led Zeppelin, unquote. So, what's your favorite Led Zeppelin song? Oh,
honey, The Rover. It's got to be The Rover.
Very good choice.
Yeah, I mean, talk about, it's difficult one to answer, but man, that's got to be the one.
Let's sneak in one more. What's the symbolism on your 12-inch vinyl having a blue, red, and yellow quad design?
Looking cool as all hell.
It's time for One Big Question with Karina Rykman beyond the mic. Her latest release is Joyride. What's the one thing you want to achieve in your musical future, and what do you consider success?
The only thing that I care about at all in all of this is to be able to keep doing it. That's all that matters to me. I'm like a gambler that just wants to stay at the table. I have no lofty goals or ambitions in terms of tickets sold, records sold. It's all a series of false peaks anyway. So to me, the only thing that I want is to be able to keep doing it. And that's what matters most to me.
She has to have her Nespresso machine, had a perfect English SAT, but don't ask her about the math. She wants you to try Oysters Rykman. Karina Rykman, best of luck with Joyland Tour. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you so very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut.